Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to directly compare the Merrell Moab 3 to the Hoka Kaha 3. Now you've probably seen the Moab 3 on more trails than any other hiking boot in the world. They are definitely the most popular and have sold millions of models. It's affordable, durable, and trusted by every casual hiker out there. But here's the thing, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's the best for your hikes. Then you have the Hoka Kaha 3, the new heavyweight in comfort and traction. It's twice the price, sure, but also one of the most technically advanced hiking boots ever made. So the real question is, does the Kaha 3 justify its $240 price tag, or is the Moab 3 still the smarter buy for most hikers? So I personally bought both of these pairs with my own money. None of this is sponsored, no free samples. I tested both of these for over 100 miles now. Real world testing across all different types of terrain. And today I'm going to compare them directly category by category with comfort, traction, overall protection, breathability, and durability. By the end, you'll know exactly which boot is the right investment for you. Let's start with the one thing that matters most, comfort. Because if you've ever finished a long hike with your toes numb or your heels burning halfway through the trailhead, you know no amount of traction, tread, or even waterproofing can fix bad comfort. So let's start with the Hoka Kaha 3. Honestly, it's a huge tank here, but it's disguised as a pillow. It has a dual density sugarcane EVA midsole. When I measured the stack height, it came out to almost over 2 inches. It's got that maximum cushion hover. However, the outsole is nice and stiff on these. They're able to withstand uneven terrain without just collapsing under because they're too cushy and mushy, as these maximalist boots tend to be. So when I'm pressing on these, as you can see, there's minimal compression, and if there is compression, there's a rebound right away. That's exactly what you want when you tend to go after these more comfortable hiking shoes on the trail. Something that overly compresses and takes forever to open back up, you're gonna start to lose traction on the trail, and it's totally not worth it. So with that out of the way, when I first slipped these on, they have a nice PU sock liner. It's very nice and sleek. It really cradles your foot in a nice non-compressive fashion. It's nice and firm, but not overly plush. There's no pressure on the arch and no compression hotspots with these. It's got the meta rocker geometry. So what that is it's a nice curvature here in the forefoot that allows a nice heel to toe transition. So these are more on the heavyweight side, but when you have that meta rocker in there, they definitely feel much lighter on your feet. So it's definitely an upgrade there. It's something that you actually need with these more maximalist cushion hiking boots, because if they're too heavyweight, they're just gonna feel like they're dragging along with you on the trail all day, and that comfort really isn't worth it. So add in that nice meta rocker and it really feels light on your feet. So the Kaha 3 scored it a perfect 5 out of 5 in our objective testing for comfort. The shock absorption is simply unmatched, especially for hikers who deal with joint pain or really go on long distances with extra weight with a pack. These are totally one of the best for comfort and impact absorption. Now let's switch to the Moab 3. You immediately feel the difference between the shock absorption on these. Now the shock absorption is not the worst with the Moab 3, but when you directly compare these two, there's a huge difference in terms of that impact on your foot. It's got a nice kinetic fit advanced insole. It's got solid cushioning on this shoe. One of the best parts of this shoe is actually the sleek sock liner, better than the PU sock liner on the Kaha 3. The heel padding is excellent on these as well. The Kaha 3 tends to lack that heel padding, especially at the top. Merrell really nailed the comfort on this model. So for what this outsole has within it, for the minimalist amount of stack here, the comfort is excellent. The toe box tends to narrow down just a little bit. We measured it at 2.6 inches. Gets a little cramped sometimes, but not the worst. It's got a nice voluminous expansion in it. This is nice leather throughout the boot, but it also has some mesh pockets throughout it. Allows good expansion for those summer hiking months, especially when your feet tend to swell. So overall, we rated it a 4 out of 5 for comfort. It's not as effortless as the Kaha. It doesn't have a rockered sole to it, but it's more traditional, a little bit more rigid. And when you directly compare this, the energy return is not as good as the Kaha. So you want a more stable, cushioned ride on uneven terrain, the Kaha 3 wins here. But if you prefer a little bit more of a grounded feel, less bounce to it, definitely good for hikers or doing short weekend trails when it comes to comfort with the Moab 3. Now let's talk about traction. The Moab 3 has the TC5 Plus Vibram outsole here with 5mm lugs. Now compare that to the Vibram Mega Grip on the Kaha 3. The TC5 Plus is a little bit lighter and a little less aggressive when it comes to the lug pattern. So I tested this one on compact dirt, gravel, slate, limestone, sandstone, anything you can think of with the Moab 3. It does hold very great traction. The lugs are not as well spaced apart as the Kaha 3, as you can see, but the platform is nice and rigid enough to hold an edge with these. It helps on off-camber trail. It does hiccup a little bit on technical surfaces, but overall it does pretty good on technical trails for a budget hiking boot. So the traction score we gave the Moab 3 was a 4.5 out of 5. Now the Hoka Kaha 3, like we said, it has the Vibram Mega Grip outsole. As you can see, there's rubber projection spikes all throughout the lugs on here. It gives a little bit more of that grip and traction on the trail. These are 4mm lugs, not 5mm like the Merrell Moab 3. And again, we tested this on every surface you can think of. I'm not going to go through every single surface we tested them on, but excellent traction, excellent grip with this model. It's got a nice extended hubble heel, as you can see here. So it allows more ground contact on the surfaces you're with. More ground contact means better traction, better stability. And overall, there wasn't a surface that the Kaha 3 could not match. So we gave that a traction a 5 out of 5. So the bottom line, the Moab 3 is solid for most hikers. However, the Kaha 3 just steps it up a notch when you're looking at that premium hiking boot or even technical trails. The Merrell Moab 3 takes a more traditional route when it comes to overall protection. It's got nice thick leather throughout the boot here. It's got durable mesh panels throughout it as well. It's nice and traditionally stitched, which we love. Nice steady rubber toe cap here, prevents any root kicks, things like that on the trail. And overall, it just gives good, dependable protection that works well on any kind of trail when it comes to the Moab 3. So if you're gonna move into more rockier, more technical terrain, the Kaha 3 literally feels like you're stepping into a fortress. It's got a 7.5-inch ankle cuff, completely encloses the malleoli of your ankle, something that most boots never even get to, especially the Moab 3. One of the disappointing facts of the Moab 3, which some people actually like, is the ankle cuff goes below your ankle malleoli. Now that's not the best for overall ankle protection in the first place, but that takes some weight off of it and allows more freedom of your ankle and your feet with these. Some people prefer that, some people don't. Now getting back to the Kaha 3, it's got premium nubuck leather. It's got a nice plastic overlay here in the toe box, gives a nice extension there. And you combine that with the 2-inch dual density EVA midsole, you literally feel like you're lifted off the ground with these. They got nice thick sidewalls, as you can see, deflect rocks and roots before they even get close to your foot. Overall, the structure of the Kaha 3 holds its shape instead of compressing under weight, as a lot of hiking boots tend to do. So if you're someone who's rolled your ankle before, carries a heavy pack, and overall protection really matters, this is where the Kaha 3 really dominates. So for overall protection, it's got a 4.5 out of 5, while the Moab 3 gets a 4 out of 5. Now let's talk breathability. This is where these boots really differentiate from each other, and it all comes down to the materials and the design philosophy of these boots. So the Moab 3 was clearly built with ventilation in mind. As you can see right away, there are ventilation pockets all throughout this boot. They run through the sides and also through the tongue as well. There's great air circulation throughout this boot. Long summer hikes, these really feel nice and breathable. And these happen to be waterproof, which a lot of waterproof boots are not that breathable on the trail, but the Moab 3 really defies those odds. And I have to say, when it comes to breathability, especially a leather hiking boot, the Moab 3 was the best out of all the hiking boots we have tested. There's a nice tricky balance it has to hold, obviously, with trying to keep water out of the boot itself, but not suffocating your feet at the same time. Tested them in over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The difference was obviously noticeable. On the other hand, this has great full weather protection, great winter hiking boot, pretty good summer hiking boot as well. The breathability is just not the same as the Moab 3. There aren't great ventilation pockets throughout here. However, one thing Hoka did was they added the Gore-Tex Invisible Fit on this, which is the waterproof membrane. Technically, it's supposed to be more breathable, and during my testing, it actually was more breathable, so that is definitely an upgrade when you compare this to the Kaha 2 that wasn't as breathable. But still, there aren't ventilation pockets all throughout this boot, so definitely not as breathable as the Moab 3. So scores based on our objective testing, The Moab 3 scores a 4.5 out of 5 for breathability, while the Kaha 3 loses at 3.5 out of 5. Now durability. So this is obviously one of the most important categories. You want to buy a hiking boot that's actually going to last you for miles and miles on the trail. You don't want something that's going to break down if it's just comfortable. It's not worth investing all of your money in it if it doesn't last a long time, obviously. And both of these boots should actually earn your trust when it comes to durability. So after testing them both for over 100 miles each, so these show no breakdown, as you can see. The nubuck leather has held up well. The greatest part about that is the outsole didn't flatten out. Even though the stack height is massive on these, it's nice and firm. It doesn't flatten out like a pancake like those maximalist boots tend to do. It's all traditionally stitched throughout. There's no welding in this boot. Those welded materials, don't go after them. They suck. They don't last long. They're great for a lightweight design, but you want something that lasts, get the traditionally stitched boots. So after all of that, this boot really hasn't shown any signs of breakdown. The investment in these is obviously worth it. And overall, it is one of the most durable boots out there. Now, the Moab 3. This boot has been used for more than 100 miles of testing. And again, no breakdown with these. The outsole and the traction still hold very well. No flattening out. No breakdown of leather, nothing crazy. This boot is definitely no slouch when it comes to durability. And here's the thing with the Moab 3. I've used these for things other than hiking. I use them snow blowing in the winter. I use it for walks with my dog in the winter, not just hiking. And literally these hold up extremely well. Again, traditionally stitched, no welding. Seriously, don't go after welded boots. They do not hold up well. But overall with the Moab 3, it bodes well for durability. So these both get a tie at the durability with a 5 out of 5. Totally worth the investment for both of these boots when it comes to how long these boots are actually going to last you on the trail. So now let's recap the scores and go over our final scores for both of these, find out which one is better for you. So the Kaha 3 comes in with a rating of a 9.3 out of 10 when it's directly compared to the Moab 3 coming in at a 9 out of 10. Now, those scores have zero bias in them. It's all objective testing scores we go after in a list that we have, so you can find the absolute best boot for you. So now after those scores, the Moab 3 remains the most popular hiking boot on the planet, obviously for a good reason. They're affordable, reliable, and versatile enough to handle casual day hikes and literally work around the house, snowblowing, like I said, things like that. If you want to wear them as regular hiking, or if you want to just wear boots throughout the day, these are a great option as well. I call these the people's hiking boot. They're rugged, they're breathable, and literally a no-brainer for anyone on a budget. At $120, these are excellent. So when you compare them to the Kaha 3, you understand where the extra $100 go. The cushioning feels like a suspension system for your joints, literally. The traction is excellent. It bites into every terrain imaginable. And the outsole does an excellent job at impact absorption without flattening out over time when it comes to durability. Overall, it is the better boot and it's a smarter long-term investment. However, again, if you are more of a budget buyer, there's nothing wrong with the Moab 3. If you want to save money, check the links down below. We have the lowest verified prices with potential discounts. We buy and test every pair ourselves. None of these are sponsored. We don't get any freebies or anything like that. So using those links helps us stay completely sponsor free. No extra cost to you. Please like and subscribe to the channel. As we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, we can keep bringing you all these gear reviews for free. Also, don't forget to visit mountaineerjourney.com where you can see our full written reviews, comparisons just like this one, and best of guides. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.